what we're really privileged to have as a manager who kind of gives that kind of insight anyway, because the two examples that I'm going to use next is like Dan Burn and Joelinton. Dan Burn's a centre half, but he's been told to play left back and he goes and does it. He doesn't ask any questions, just right, I've got the shirt, right, I've got to play left back and I'll go and do it. Joelinton can play in the middle of the park. He might be asked to play on the left. He might be asked to play on the right. Just does it, gets on with it. Right, that's my role. Right, how can I maximise myself to be able to give my all for the team? And that's two of our main players in our squad. And when the players go out on loan, they're ringing up and they say, "You play me on the right today. I just want to play in the middle." Well, yeah, but remember, Joelinton done that against Arsenal the other week. Dan Burn, had to go up against Bukayo Saka the other week. He did it. So go on then. So, and then again, if our manager, right, asks you if you want to play on Saturday, but you're going to have to play out of position, you're going to tell our manager, no, you can't. And I think it's trying to, build that confidence in the players that they can go out and they can play in different positions. Footballers now need to be versatile. Gone are the days where you're just literally a defender, a midfield player, or attacker. You've got to be able to play in multiple positions. And then particularly when they're leaving our clubs and they're going to the lower in the pyramid in English football, players that are able to have versatility in their game are absolute diamonds, because salaries come into factor on this as well. And that, right, if I can get a player who can play 3 different positions, that might save me a couple of quid on having to go and get, if I'm a centre midfielder player, but I can play on the left and I can play on the right, well, I might not need to go and get a left winger now. I can save that money and I might be able to actually use that money to go and get a better number 9, or if I can need a goalkeeper, or trying to, instill that into young players who just want to be centre midfield player. Well, no, you're a footballer. You're not a centre midfielder, you're a footballer. You have to be able to play football in different positions. To be able to play in that positions adds value to you as a player, both internally and externally as well.
So in some ways, for those type of players, I mean, we hear the word control the controllables bandied around an awful lot, don't we? That's one of the keys there. And then I guess it's whether they're playing in League One, League Two, whatever league they're playing in, is probably looking at some of the better players in those leagues, whether it's if they are centre midfielder and they're asked to play on the left or the right, and probably being an expert, studying the game an awful lot must be a real skill for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think so this is some of this. So we will try and let the players know who's interested in them, and we only let them know when there's actually serious interest, and invariably when there's actually an offer on the table. We take so many phone calls from clubs asking, have you got a left winger? Have you got a right winger? Have you got a centre back? Have you got a goalkeeper? Yeah, we've got all these. But until they actually, but there's no point in then us going to the player and saying, listen, X, Y, and Z are interested in you, because 9 times out of 10, they're on a list, and the list invariably they're lower on it. So until a concrete offer comes in for the player, then that's when we'll kind of let them know. So, for argument's sake, Newcastle United's interested in David Charlton. Like, Dave, Newcastle are interested in you. You're a centre back. I think you need to watch Dan Burn. You need to watch Botman. You need to watch Chow. What have you got that's going to get you in the team? Or what are they doing that's got them in it? So with them, we will then, put it on them a little bit to do a bit of homework too, because I feel that we do a lot in the academy for players, and we give them a heck of a lot of information. So when the players go out, you don't have the resources that we do at our place. So it's right, okay, start to do your own analysis. You're going to be playing against Harrogate next Saturday and Grimsby the week after. You're going to have to start to understand who you're playing against, because, the analyst at that club that you're going to, there might only be one of them. He's got, the manager's got him doing this project. So watch the games. We'll give you access to games if you want them. Ring us up. We've got an analyst who will give you it. So I think once clubs come in, they've got to put the offer on the table. We're starting to negotiate on that loan deal. We'll ask the players to do a little bit of homework as well on where they're going to, so they understand who's going to be their competition, what kind of style of play. So when they are going into that environment, they've got a little bit of understanding themselves, and it's not just all coming from us.